Okay, joining us now is Acharya Sarvanand Saraswati. आचार्य जी, स्वागत है आपका हेडलाइंस टुडे पे। ये जो हम सीधा प्रसारण काशी विश्वनाथ मंदिर से देख रहे हैं, इसके बारे में आप हमारे दर्शकों को बताएं कि किस तरह की पूजा चल रही है स्वामी जी।
ये देखिए, काशी का नाम ही है भगवान सिद्धा नाम सदनम काशी बुधा नाम चुनिकेतनम। काशी में भगवान विश्वनाथ राजा बनकर के विराजमान है, जो जिनको राज्याभिषेक या राज्य की प्राप्ति करने के लिए चाहे छत्रपति शिवाजी हो, चाहे राम हो, चाहे कृष्ण हो, उन्होंने भगवान शिव का शिवाभिषेक किया है। तो ये शिव का अभिषेक जो भी रुद्राष्टाध्यायी जो 8 अध्याय उसमें है, जिससे वैदिक पंडितों ने 11 वैदिक पंडितों ने मंत्रोच्चारण करके भगवान विश्वनाथ का अभिषेक पूजन कराया। और वो भी आज संध्या काल में, जिसको कि कहते हैं शनिवार की संध्या काल में। तो निश्चित है देश काल और भारत की संस्कृति के लिए ये पूजन बहुत ही श्रेष्ठ है। और इस पूजन से समाज में कई तरह के अतिक्रमण, कई तरह की बीमारियों का और किसानों के खेतों की भी फसलों पर भी कहीं किसी तरह का जो आपात होती है, प्रकृति का प्रकोप नहीं होगा। तो ये अभिषेक आज का बहुत ही सर्वार्थ सिद्ध अभिषेक हो रहा है, जिसमें पंचगव्य का पूजन हुआ, पंचामृत का पूजन हुआ, जिसमें गंगा जल और इसके बाद जल और केवड़ा जल, गुलाब जल, यहाँ तक कि द्राक्षासव और फिर भस्माभिषेक हुआ। भस्म का मतलब है वैभव। हमारे भारत को इतना वैभवशाली भस्म बना दे, इसलिए वैभव का अभिषेक हुआ। ये निश्चित है, ये अभिषेक जीवन में विश्व की शांति के लिए, भारत में समय, शक्ति और संपत्ति की वृद्धि के लिए, ये भगवान विश्वनाथ को 1100 बिल्वपत्र का एक बिल्वपत्र साक्षात ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश 3 की उत्पत्ति है। तीनों वहां उपस्थित हो जाते हैं और लक्ष्मी बीच में है। इसलिए भगवान की जो भगवान विश्वनाथ हैं, उनका आप जलहरी में शिवलिंग का जो पास पे जहां पर पूजन हुआ, दुग्धाभिषेक हुआ, दधी का अभिषेक हुआ, शर्करा का अभिषेक हुआ, मधु का अभिषेक हुआ। ये सारे अभिषेक आपके प्रकृति में, आपका जल का, आपके जीवन में जो सत्वगुण, रजोगुण, तमोगुण तीनों की प्रकृतियों को ठीक करने के लिए, मन की शांति के लिए चंद्रमा और सूर्य आपके ऊपर कृपा बनाए रखें, इसके लिए, इसलिए उनको इत्र से भी, इत्र के समय आप मंत्र बोलते हैं, त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वारुकमेव वंदनान मृत्योर्मुक्षीमामृतात्। इस तरह के मंत्रों का उच्चारण, जिसमें कहते मंत्र हीलिंग और ये उपासना हीलिंग और ये कर्मकांड हीलिंग, ये बड़ा वैज्ञानिक है, कॉस्मिक हीलिंग। ये जो चल रहा है दुनिया, इसको देख करके बहुत ही आनंदित और आनंदात रेख हो रही है। निश्चित है भगवान विश्वनाथ सभी का कल्याण करें और शांति करें। निश्चित है देश का ऐसा प्रधानमंत्री, देश का ऐसा नेता, देश का ऐसा नायक जो जन जन से झुका हुआ है, वो भगवान शिव में जाकर के भगवान शिव से प्रार्थना कर रहा है कि प्रभु मेरी ये भावनाएं, ये सभी जनमानस में 125 करोड़ जनता के प्रति निश्चित में इसी भाव से लगा रहूं और आप मुझे बुद्धि, शक्ति, संपत्ति दिए रहें, जिससे हमारा हर युवक, हर युवती यहाँ सुरक्षित और विकास के कार्य में दिनों दिन उन्नति को, कमल का अर्पण करना, जो जीवन में अगर कुछ कीचड़ भी उछलता है तो हम सुगंध में परिवर्तित कर दें, उसको पुष्पों में परिवर्तित कर दें और उसको आनंदित कर दें। ये अभिषेक बहुत ही दिव्य अभिषेक है। और इस दिव्य अभिषेक का अब आप देखें कि वो पंडित जी उनको पंचामृत, वहां भगवान का अभिषेक का जल दे रहे हैं और उनको चंदन लगा रहे हैं। तो इस तरह से ये देश की बहुत सुंदर प्रारंभिक स्थिति है भारत का। निश्चित है जिसका काशी में ये अभिषेक हो रहा है, इसलिए भारत को कहते हैं विश्व गुरु। निश्चित ये सोपान विश्व गुरु की प्रथम सोपान है और ये विश्व गुरु निश्चित।
आचार्य जी ये बताइए कि क्या उम्मीद है आपको नरेंद्र मोदी से वाराणसी के लिए, गंगा रिवर के लिए? आपको क्या उम्मीद है कि मोदी जी क्या कर पाएंगे, क्या डिलीवर कर पाएंगे इन जगहों पर?
ये देखिए बंधु, आप शैलेंद्र, क्या नाम आपका? क्या नाम?
मेरा नाम राहुल है सर।
राहुल जी, देखिए एक बता दूं, मोदी जी क्या कर पाएंगे, लेकिन भगवान विश्वनाथ मोदी के माध्यम से काशी का जिस तरह से काशी का वैभव है, काशी का सिद्धानाम सदनम काशी, मैंने मंत्र बोला था ऋग्वेद का, तो जिस काशी में सिद्ध लोग रहते हो, जहां विद्वानों का वास हो, उस काशी को बहुत ही ऊंचा पहुंचाएंगे। और निश्चित गंगा जो आज प्रदूषित हो रही है, तो उस गंगा का प्रदूषण भी दूर होगा निश्चित। क्योंकि मोदी ने ये संकल्प लिया था कि काशी का विश्व में उत्थान करेंगे पर्यावरण के विषय में। और
Thank you very much for joining us, Acharya Sarvanand Saraswati. Clearly, very high expectations. And the reality, Shiv Vishwanathan, is we're seeing Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh, that's the triumvirate, along with, say, an Arun Jaitley. They're the new levers of power. They will run India at least for the next 5 years. And very clearly, regardless of whatever is said, Sushma Swaraj is no longer part of this. And when Advani was around, she was part of the big three. Now she's not. It's a recalibration of position. Much bigger political games taking place, also visible in a simple puja like this one.
See, I think any ritual is a rectification ceremony. It brings harmonies together. And what we see here is the hybridization of cosmology and governance. And the two together give you world peace and stability. The grammar is superb. The symbolism, absolutely an act of genius. Because
Modi, everyone wants to be on Modi's charter, right? But he's taken Rajnath and Amit Shah. Everyone else has been left out. The likes of Venkaiah Naidu, who was very close to the Advani team, and Anant Kumar, Sushma Swaraj, Murli Manohar Joshi, they're no longer part of the Modi. He's basically going to recast the BJP in his own image and personality.
Also, I think there's been a generational change from the Advani years, which was held in abeyance until Modi took over, because Advani was still around, nobody quite knew what the calculation was. Gadkari was placed there by the RSS. The BJP still had to find its post-Vajpayee-Advani leadership. It's found it now, and it's found it so convincingly in terms of his victory that Modi can do pretty much what he wants. And I think he also senses that this last team, the one he's sort of getting rid of, are the people who lost the BJP 2 elections in a row. If the BJP has to have a future, it has to change its faces, it has to change its personnel. As for the Sushma factor, I think it's no secret that Sushma and Jaitley were always separate factions. Jaitley was always much closer to Narendra Modi than Sushma was. I think Sushma had prime ministerial ambitions of herself, and Jaitley thought it would be Narendra Modi to whom he would be perhaps.
Well, Jaitley would have liked to be prime minister himself, but realized very quickly that wasn't going to happen, and chose to jump on the Modi bandwagon.
I think both options were. Well, he didn't. Let's be fair to him. He didn't just jump on the Modi bandwagon. In Goa, when Vajpayee wanted to sack Modi, Jaitley is one of those people who spoke up the loudest for him. The 2004 election campaign in Gujarat, Jaitley went and helped him. So Jaitley has been close to Modi even when there was no hope of Modi ever becoming Prime Minister.
And that's something Modi remembers and is grateful for.
Absolutely. He created the band before the bandwagon began.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I want to go across to Simi Pasha in Varanasi. She's got some Pandits with her. Simi, that puja getting over at the Kashi Vishwanath temple, focus will shift very soon to the Dashashwamedh Ghats. Describe to our viewers the preparations that are now taking place over
Now, absolutely electrifying atmosphere. I have with me the Panditji who will be conducting, the priest will be conducting the puja. जी आप हमें बताइए कि इस पूजा का महत्व क्या होता है? आज मोदी जी यहाँ पे आ रहे हैं, इसका स्पेशली क्या अरेंजमेंट्स किए हैं आपने उनके लिए?
जी उनके लिए सबसे पहले मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि गंगा जी की जो आरती है, आरती का अर्थ होता है दुखों का निवारण। जितने भी कोई भी आरती को देख करके सभी दुखों का निवारण होता है। दूसरी बात यह है कि गंगा जी क्या है? गंगा जी एक ज्ञान का स्वरूप है, जो कि मानव कल्याण के लिए इस धरती पे आई है। हम लोगों के कल्याण के लिए ये बहती हैं। इनका कोई भी स्वार्थ नहीं है। ये दूसरे के लिए, परोपकार के लिए बहती है, और ये ज्ञान स्वरूप है।
और इनकी जो हालत है इस बार देख के, आप जो है यहाँ के पुजारी हैं, आपको दुख नहीं होता गंगा की हालत देखकर?
जी बहुत दुख होता है, क्योंकि गंगा माँ है, माँ का स्वरूप है। तो हम यही कामना करते हैं, हमारे मन में यही एक मोदी से एक हमारी इच्छा है कि वो गंगा माँ को स्वच्छ करने के लिए, निर्मल करने के लिए हम प्रयास करेंगे, और हम सभी इस कार्य में कम से कम 20 सालों से जुटे हैं।
Right, so high expectations from the entire priest community and in fact the entire city from Narendra Modi. They want the Ganga to be cleaned. Ganga is a very emotive issue as far as Varanasi is concerned. आप ये बताइए कि आज की आरती की खासियत क्या है? 7 लोग मिलके ये पूजा करते हैं. नरेंद्र मोदी भी क्या खुद भी आरती करेंगे? जी नहीं, ये जो आरती है ये सिर्फ 7 ब्राह्मणों द्वारा की जाएगी और ये नित्य होती है. चाहे तूफान हो, बारिश हो, कुछ भी हो, ये नित्य कम से कम 16 साल से हो रही है और हमारा उद्देश्य यही है गंगा को पवित्र रखना, स्वच्छ रखना, निर्मल करना. आप कह रहे हैं 7 ब्राह्मण मिलके पूजा करेंगे. मोदी जी प्राइम मिनिस्टर बन गए, उनसे आप पूजा नहीं करवाएंगे? सिर्फ उनसे गंगा जी का पूजन होगा. 16 प्रकार का पूजन होता है, षोडशोपचार जिसको संस्कृत में बोला जाता है. उनसे हम षोडशोपचार पूजन करवाएंगे और आरती ब्राह्मण लोग ही करेंगे और मोदी जी इसका सिर्फ गंगा आरती जी को देखेंगे. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, धन्यवाद, थैंक यू. आई वुड कीप यू वेटिंग. आप जाइए सर, आपको आरती के लिए देर हो रही है. राहुल, these are the priests who will be helping Narendra Modi conduct the aarti in a couple of minutes from now. Massive celebration. I'll also ask my camera person to pan and show you the number of people who gathered here. And these are only VVIP invitees. The entire Janta of Varanasi is still waiting on the streets, waiting to catch a glimpse of Narendra Modi. It's not possible to accommodate everyone on the ghat. Security is also a major issue. Lots of security agencies have been deployed here. We've got the NSG, we've got the NAC, we've got the SPG. We've got sniffer dogs making sure that nothing untoward happens. This is also a security nightmare because the width of the Ganga has been reduced to barely 500 meters. So there are rivers, there are water policemen who have also been deployed on boats all over the stretch of Dashaswamedh Ghat. Narendra Modi expected in about 20 minutes for now. Massive celebrations have been organized here. People have been waiting here and gathering since about 4 in the afternoon. It's a really hot summer day today, and in spite of the scorching summer heat, people have gathered at the Dashaswamedh Ghat to catch a glimpse of Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister in waiting, and this city taking great pride in the fact that they've elected him as the Prime Minister of the country.
Well, they're thrilled about the fact that they've elected the Prime Minister of the country. They have huge expectations from him. Those are images of Narendra Modi emerging from the Kashi Vishwanath temple, heading towards the Dashaswamedh Ghats after completing that big puja at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. This is a security nightmare, Veer Sanghvi. To have so many people flock around Narendra Modi, to have him with his head popping out of the roof of a vehicle. Yep. He's hugely popular. He's a high-value target. The terrorists are trying to get him. Should he now try and be a little more careful?
Well, it's a trade-off, Rahul. Do you want to say, I have come back to the holy city of Banaras that has sent me to parliament, and here I am, look at me, I am your representative, I am your prime minister? Or do you want to hide in a bulletproof vehicle with armed guards all around you? I think most politicians, given that trade-off, will take the former rather than the latter.
Sure, but there is a risk.
Of course there's a risk.
There is a threat.
But there's also an act of faith. You don't go to a temple and pretend you're so isolated that you can't reach the gods.
Yes. That's also true. It sort of defeats the purpose of the exercise. Yeah.
Uday Mahurkar, I want to know, while we wait for Narendra Modi to arrive at the Dashaswamedh Ghats, what your sense is on who the next Chief Minister of Gujarat is going to be? Because to my mind, that will reveal a lot about the thinking of Narendra Modi, whether it is an Anandiben Patel, a Saurabh Patel or a Nitin Patel. There are different pros and cons for all. What's your sense, Uday?
I have no doubt, ever since the talk of Modi going to Delhi surfaced last year, that Anandiben is the front runner.
Why?
She is the confidant of the couple of things. Modi has a lot of, she doesn't deviate from Modi's scheme of things, I mean, Modi has great confidence in her. I think she is the confidant of Modi in Gujarat. Secondly, she is a very good administrator. I mean, whichever ministry she has handled, education, she cleaned up. There are a lot of money, exchange of money in appointment of teachers. She is the one, she is the architect of cleaning the whole education system at the primary level. Then in revenue also, she has brought a lot of technology at the ground level to cut red tape. This time she has got urban development. She is doing a good job there. So she is fairly efficient as a minister. But there are problems. She doesn't have the right connect with the workers. She is seen as one who is slightly arrogant. less sensitive towards the needs of the workers, and therefore there is a problem when she comes, you know. But in terms of administration, you see, Modi's administration has got a certain streak, you know. You see, he goes by principles. There are principles by which he moves, you know. Once a policy is made, he tries his best that it is not violated when, I mean, he doesn't take decisions which would violate that policy. So far as Anandibei is concerned, she also conforms to this style of functioning. So she is a good administrator and she has confidence of Modi. And secondly, you know, Modi is a very tough man. For example, one thing about Modi which is very rare.
Okay.
You see, when he's appointing secretaries, he doesn't consult the ministers. I think he must be one of the only chief ministers to do it in the country, you know. And this applies to Anandibei also. When Anandibei's secretary is changed, secretary means I am talking about the departmental secretary, IS officer. She is not told, and she takes that sportingly, you know, in her stride, knowing Modi's nature and his style of functioning. Rahul.
Okay, I need to slip into a quick break. Narendra Modi is currently heading to the Dashashwamedh Ghats. We'll come back and get you these beautiful images from Varanasi. Varanasi being decked up, the Ghats being cleaned, cleaner than they've been in a very long time, because they're now waiting for India's new Prime Minister to come. These are live images of Narendra Modi, India's new Prime Minister, arriving at the Dashashwamedh Ghats for the Grand Ganga Aarti. You can see his vehicle, you can see him with the light on inside that SUV. There will be a grand puja for which preparations have been on for hours now. Varanasi has been cleaned up, possibly like never before in recent memory. The ghats have been cleaned, the river looking much cleaner, all floating objects cleaned out by special boats. Hundreds of people lining up along the lanes of Varanasi to welcome their Member of Parliament and India's new Prime Minister. These are images taken from on top of a building. Narendra Modi finished the puja at the Sankat Mochan temple and is now heading for the Dashashwamedh Ghats. Nalini Singh is also joining us. A Thanksgiving puja has just been performed, and the big question that everyone has is, will Narendra Modi be able to live up to the expectations and the promises he made to the people of Varanasi? Because Varanasi clearly hopes that he'll be able to clean up this place.
I think so. I really do think, Rahul, that it doesn't take that much. You know, it's just been mismanaged since 1991, when, or before that, since 1989, 90, even prior to that, in the 80s, when Rajiv Gandhi had said that it got this Ganga Action Plan, and we
all
know
those
that
action
seriously mismanaged.
Before you came. All those action plans failed.
Yeah.
So when everything else in the past failed.
Because there was no implementation, there was no monitoring of what was going on, and therefore they failed. But if now we have another system of engaging, you know, the local government via the central government with it, I cannot imagine that some improvement will not take place. And the improvement includes actually a whole bunch of things, not just, let me say, you know, in appreciation, a macabre thing, that earlier if you stood there for 15 minutes you would have bodies floating by. That was not unusual. Today it would be a little bit unusual. In 15 minutes you might see a body floating by, say, maybe in 6 hours. So that's an improvement. Somebody has taken the steps to make sure that these, you know, the floating objects, as you're saying, but in most of them bodies.
That's the Dashashwamedh Ghat. Live, that's where the grand Ganga Aarti will happen. There are several Aartis that are performed along the Ghats of Varanasi. This is the biggest, the grandest of them all. This is where Narendra Modi will be. My colleague Simi Pasha spoke just a short while before now to the priest who will be performing the Ganga Aarti. They're all very excited to have India's new Prime Minister in their midst. And in that sense, the attempt that they made, Shiv Vishwanathan, by getting Modi to stand from Varanasi, that they would win eastern Uttar Pradesh, they've succeeded in doing that. They thought this through, they put together a grand campaign and strategy, and they were able to follow it through.
See, as far as campaigns go, I think they've been brilliant. But I think the way the campaign combined a variety of symbolic spaces is really what interests me. You clean up the Ganges, you clean up Varanasi, you clean up UP, and you become a hope for a certain kind of India. I think it's beautifully structured.
Can I just also
Yes.
say, Rahul, looking at these shots, do you know, not only is it Varanasi, not only is it North India and the rest of India, actually this is so reminiscent of Kathmandu and the Pashupatinath temple on the banks of the Bagmati there, that it is almost an echo. It's a visual and even an audio echo. And I think the Aarti over here is very similar there. So it's going to actually have an echo across one border at least, which is in Nepal. I would not be surprised if there is a high viewership of your channel today in Kathmandu.
Nepal. On your channel. Are you cutting live to us?
We will cut live to you.
No, but the interesting thing is that the Varanasi represents the confluence of the Ganga, Jamni, Taras, the whole tradition.
Tehzeeb.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And in that sense, this is not hard Hindutva, Veer Sanghavi, this is soft Hindutva. Is it Hindutva at all? Or would it be unfair to link this to Hindutva?
Well, I mean, there's obviously a sense that if he goes to the holiest city in Hinduism and says, I'm going to be a representative, it's hard to ignore the Hindu symbolism. But he's also going to the oldest city in India, the oldest city in the world, to the most famous river in India, and he's promising to clean it up. And he's bringing a sense of modernity to the most ancient part of India. That symbolism also is very important.
See, I think one has to be careful about this word Ganges. I think it's got a cosmopolitan and a cosmic touch. I remember Diana Eck telling me a brilliant story about a professor, a Sanskrit scholar who went to Harvard, saw the Charles River and said, oh, I'm glad you have a bit of Ganges here. So I think one has to understand it's a much more powerful metaphor.
I think, for those of us who might have been in Rome when the Pope comes out to give his darshan, you get caught up in the fact that so many people believe in this religious concourse. And so I think in a way, if you want to disassociate this from highly Hindutva symbolism, then I think it is also so many people in the Kumbh Mela.
Narendra Modi has arrived at the Dashashwamedh Ghats from the Kashi Vishwanath temple. You see these live images. He's got SPG commandos with him. You also see BJP President Rajnath Singh, who comes from the neighboring village of Chandauli. Just as you cross the river Ganga, on the other side is where Rajnath Singh was born, where he grew up, his village. There's also Amit Shah, who's right behind Narendra Modi, like his shadow as he has been over the past several years. I want to invite Sadanand Dhume also, who's joining us on this program, get him to comment on whether we're seeing a display of soft Hindutva through this Aarti. You can say it's spiritual, which is what Nalini Singh said, or you can say it's a public exhibition of benign Hindutva.
I think it's certainly a public exhibition of religiosity, which is not something that we're used to seeing in prime ministers. You had people who made temple visits, you had people who conducted havans, but here you have, in the full glare of all the nation's news TV cameras, the newly elected Prime Minister of India at this ritual in Hinduism's holiest city. So I don't think it's hardline at all, but I think this is part of an effort to really rewrite this is the new normal.
So when Arvind Kejriwal did an Aarti, what are we calling that? A religious, an actual belief, or are we calling that for display?
Well, it wasn't for display because it wasn't a photo op, unlike Modi's.
But that too was a photo op. He had cameras as well. In fact, fewer cameras were interested in him. That's a different matter. But he still had invited cameras in just the same way as this.
See, I think we're trying to repress our religion.
Yeah.
I think most Indians are quite open about their religiosity.
Yeah.
Here is a politician who recognizes that. Now, I think one has to acknowledge that in a way he's opening up the fact that we are a religious people. To talk about Hindutva in this context might get a bit old.